I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas yesterday, and I thank you for tuning in for my review of the final SmackDown of 2025. I'm sure many of you spent yesterday doing all the typical Christmas traditions by spending time with family, exchanging presents, along with some other Stranger Things. Which, if you haven't heard, Raw will be collaborating with Stranger Things on the January 5th episode, which is the first episode of 2026. I have no idea what we will see. Maybe the Judgment Day will get trapped in the Upside Down or something. I heard Liv Morgan was at the premiere, so we'll see. The finale, by the way, of Stranger Things drops on New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock. I finished the last three episodes that aired, and I'm definitely excited for the finale. I'm a big fan. And that's definitely a reason to also stay subscribed to Netflix for me because I got my subscription last year and I started watching the show last year. I was definitely late to the party, and that's definitely a positive that WWE has given me, even though the product they've put out, which for me, as a viewer, an international viewer, all the product comes out on Netflix. So it really hasn't been very good this year in 2025 for WWE. So I at least thank them for giving me Stranger Things because I would have never watched if they didn't move to Netflix. And anyways, SmackDown was taped last week in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we started off backstage. Cody is talking to Nick Aldis, and he's asking if Drew is there. Now Aldis tells him that Drew has signed a contract. Then Miz demands to know where Joe Hendry is after Cody leaves. Aldis says his name, and Joe Hendry appears in the ring. We see it from the monitor, or I think that's a TV screen. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. It's a bit too big to be a monitor, to be honest. And we started off in the arena, at least, with a Joe Hendry concert where he sang a parody song to Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells. Miz has tiny balls. He mocks the Miz. And then you had a whole bunch of people in the ring with him. He had Akira Tozawa dressed up as an elf. Otis was dressed up as Santa Claus. You had four females dressed as Santa's helpers, wearing Santa hats and red Christmassy dresses. And then you had R-Truth as the Easter Bunny. Now, they didn't officially tell us right away it's R-Truth because there's a giant bunny in the ring, but I mean, who else could that be? I mean, it's an old gag. The Easter Bunny shows up for Christmas. And that's obviously going to be R-Truth. It just worked for the show, to be honest, because Truth can make that work. And then Aldis made, after Miz interrupted, actually, Aldis made a Miracle on 34th Street fight. And we had Christmas trees, wrapped presents, sugar cookies, turnbuckles wrapped with red bows, all present at ringside. And we got our opening match. A Miracle on 34th Street fight named after the movie Miracle on 34th Street, classic Christmas movie. I think my favorite Christmas movie has to be It's a Wonderful Life or maybe Home Alone. Love those two movies. But we get the Miz against Joe Hendry in this match. The wrapped up presents had weapons inside. I think they had the exact same gag on NXT that was taped earlier before, so we had the same thing here. But I mean, far more people watch this show than NXT, so maybe it doesn't really matter. The candy cane kendo sticks were used in this match. R-Truth was officially later revealed as the Easter Bunny. He did the You Can't See Me and the crowd loved it. Paying tribute to John Cena, everyone does the You Can't See Me, the 5-knuckle shuffle, as Truth does it to Miz. Then Joe Hendry hit the Miz with a guitar. Then he chokeslammed him through a table for the win. I thought it was an enjoyable comedy match for the holiday season. I thought it was fine. Backstage, Carmelo Hayes is talking to Fraxium. Then Ilya walks in. They agree to have a title match tonight. We got Ilya Dragunov defending his United States Championship against Carmelo Hayes. We see Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss backstage, sitting down on a couch, holding naughty and nice papers. There's a comedy segment with Charlotte holding up the nice, Alexa holding the naughty, and she doesn't really recognize it. Then we see Nia Jackson, Lash Legend arriving, and then we see Drew McIntyre arriving, and Kathy Kelly runs up to interview him. She asks about the stipulation, and he doesn't give an answer. We got an Aleister Black and Zelina video promo targeted towards Damian Priest. Backstage, Byron Saxton interviewed Jade Cargill. She cut a promo on Mishin. Then Mishin delivered a response promo with BFAB, who I believe will turn on Mishin probably next week. I think we might see a new faction with Jade Cargill, BFAB, and maybe Jada Parker from NXT. Lash Legend was out next, who just so happens to be a former rival actually, of Jada Parker. Then Charlotte Flair came out with Alexa Bliss. The stage, by the way, was decorated with Christmas trees and wrapped presents, same on as Raw, as it was taped. I'm not sure if it was before Raw or after Raw. I think it was after, because it was a Friday taping last week, so I think they taped Raw, then SmackDown. Charlotte Flair was against Lash Legend. Not much of a match here. A little disappointing for Lash. She essentially got to squash Alexa Bliss a couple of weeks ago. Here, not much. So Lash got the heat early on. Alexa jumped on Nia's shoulders, jumped on her back actually to stop her from interfering. Then Charlotte just won with like this roll up, and really didn't make any sense here. A little surprised by this result. They show Trick Williams in the general manager's office. Then Cody Rhodes appears, and he has like a cauliflower ear from the bump he took. Or I don't know what happened in the match with Obafemi 2 weeks ago, but it's a cauliflower ear now for Cody Rhodes. And Trick said some shit to Cody. I didn't really care that much. Ilya Dragunov was out next, and then we got some We got a video promo from Solo Sikoa. Fire this Nepo baby. He sucks. Next, we get the United States Championship Open Challenge. Ilya Dragunov defending against Carmelo Hayes. More of a closed challenge, as they already agreed to have a match earlier in the night, but still keeping the tradition of a United States Championship match on SmackDown in tribute to John Cena. And they had a great back and forth match, Ilya and Carmelo did. Loud, this is awesome chants. Carmelo ended up defeating Dragunov to win the title after he hit the nothing but net. Dragunov put the title around Carmelo's waist after the match, and Carmelo celebrated. So definitely a bit of a surprise, especially because they almost never do a title change on a taped show, but they did it here. So we have a new United States champion, Carmelo Hayes, and I'm sure he will continue the United States Championship Open Challenge. We get a backstage segment with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who were talking about the women's tag team titles, and that's when both Rhea Ripley and Io Sky appeared. As I said, Raw was taped before this probably, so Rhea and Io appear, and that was after they mentioned the tag team titles. Rhea and Alexa, I think, have some good chemistry on screen together. I'd like to see them do more together. I think they had like a nice interaction here. I think they can actually work well together. I'd like to see that. It quickly escalated into an all-out women's shouting match, and eventually, what happens is Nia Jax and Lash Legend come in, and then Asuka and Kairi Sane come in as well, and they're all yelling at each other. Security has to break it all up. Nick Aldis then announces an 8-woman tag match next week. It'll be the Faces. So you have Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea, and Io taking on Lash, Nia, Asuka, and Kairi. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire out next. Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviewed the new United States champion Carmelo Hayes, but almost immediately after the interview took place, Gargano came out and attacked him, jumped him, and Candice LeRae actually had to hold her husband back from attacking Carmelo Hayes some more. Julia and Kiana James were out next. Again, no reaction at all for Julia. Kiana, I think, is just a terrible pairing for her. It just seems like to me she's trying to get herself over. The thing is, she doesn't dress like a manager. When she comes out, her body's obviously very revealing, and I think it takes some of the focus off of Julia, and it just feels like she's trying to get herself over, which is fine. I don't think this is a good pairing because she is supposed to be Julia's representative, and she's not doing a good job at all. I think it's a very bad pairing, and hopefully they split them up. We get Julia and Kiana against Chelsea and Alba. Julia pinned Chelsea Green. Northern Lights Bomb got her to win. Bad sign for her regaining the title because she already pinned Chelsea Green here. So it's most likely means she's going to lose again. And maybe that's better. I think she just needs to get off SmackDown because I don't think a second Women's United States Championship reign is going to help her that much. You had Kit Wilson in Nick Aldis' office, and some segment leads to Cody Rhodes walking in as Drew was making his decision. And what happens is Cody is talking to Aldis in his office, and then Drew's music hits. We see him enter the ring from the TV, and then they go to him, and Aldis leaves, and like we all know, Cody's coming out eventually. Then we go to a commercial break. I'm watching on Netflix, so it comes back to me right away, but I know it's a commercial break by the way it was shot. We get an Obafemi video package. Then they preview next week's SmackDown. Nick Aldis and the referee were in the ring with Drew McIntyre as he officially handed Aldis his fine, check, and then he apologized to the referee. Then he immediately, after his apology, his very sincere apology, by the way, he tore into the referee on the microphone. Then Cody Rhodes came out. Drew tries to bait him into punching him. He insulted Cody's daughter, then he insulted Brandy, Cody's wife. He then officially announced that he will face Cody Rhodes in a three stages of Hell match in Berlin, Germany on the January 9th episode of SmackDown. So he doesn't trust being in the United States facing Cody Rhodes, so he wants the match in Europe in Berlin, and he will have a three stages of Hell match to win the WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes, and we don't know what the three stages are. So I guess we'll find out next week. Drew then tells Cody, "When I send you straight to hell, say hi to your dad for me." Cody wants to hit him. He pushes off, I think, the ref or a security guard. Then Drew hits Cody with the Claymore, laying him out, and that's how the final SmackDown of 2025 ended. And that sets up the match in 2 weeks. And also, I thought they did a good job previewing next week's show in Brooklyn, in Buffalo. Raw is in Brooklyn, SmackDown's in Buffalo, the first SmackDown of the year. So this year they start off. This year they started off in California. Next year they start off in New York, state of New York. So we have that to look forward to. I thought SmackDown really. I know it was a filler show, but for it just being the day after Christmas, Boxing Day officially, it's fine. It was fine as a tape show, taped a week in advance, Christmassy themed show with a Miracle on 34th Street fight, which I found very entertaining. By the way, it was fine for what it was. I mean, it's not going to do high ratings. It's the day after Christmas. What do you expect? So I really didn't mind the show tonight. There's been so many worse episodes of SmackDown that have really pissed me off. And this is just a throwaway 2-hour show. By the way, the final 2-hour SmackDown for probably about 6 months. That's kind of sad because I'm going to miss it being 2 hours. It really didn't bother me tonight as a show. I thought it was fine to watch. It was easy to watch for me. You can fast forward through some parts that you didn't like because I had it in advance on Netflix, and I really didn't mind it tonight. So that was SmackDown, and we'll see what happens as we head into the new year. I have to say, though, however, for SmackDown, 2025 was a terrible year. Probably not the worst year in SmackDown history, but one of the worst. I thought Raw was way better than SmackDown this year, and ever since they did the brand split in 2002, I've always preferred SmackDown. Almost all the years, SmackDown was the better show. This year, Raw blew away SmackDown. A bad year for SmackDown, and I just hope for WWE, but also in particular, since we're talking about SmackDown here, for its own sake, I hope 2026 is a better year for SmackDown than 2025 was.